top story this morning. The Union Cabinet yesterday approved the scheme to promote manufacturing of sintered rare earth permanent magnets with a financial outlay of 7,280 crore rupees. Now, at present, India's demand for these rare earth magnets is met primarily through imports, where China controls a bulk of rare earth magnet exports. Now, this first-of-its-kind initiative aims to establish as big as a 6,000 metric tons per annum capacity of integrated rare earth permanent magnets manufacturing in India, enhancing India's self-reliance and positioning India as a key player in the global permanent magnet market. Now, rare earth permanent magnets are one of the strongest types of permanent magnets, vital for electric vehicles, renewable energy, electronics, aerospace, as well as defense applications. Now, the scheme will support the creation of integrated manufacturing facilities involving conversion of rare earth oxides to metals, metals to alloys, and alloys to the finished rare earth permanent magnets. Now, with rapidly growing demand from electric vehicles, renewable energy, and consumer electronics, India's consumption of these magnets is expected to double by the year 2030. The government says that with this initiative, India will establish its first-ever integrated magnet manufacturing facilities, generating employment, strengthening self-reliance, and advancing India's commitment to achieve net zero by 2070. As I told you, the total financial outlay of this scheme is 7,280 crore rupees, comprising a sales-link incentive of 6,450 crore rupees on these rare earth permanent magnet sales for 5 years and a capital subsidy of 750 crore rupees for setting up an aggregate of 6,000 million tons per annum of rare earth permanent magnets manufacturing facilities.
भारत की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, जिस तरह से मेक इन इंडिया बहुत तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहा है, भारत की रिक्वायरमेंट लगातार बढ़ती जा रही है परमानेंट मैग्नेट की। और परमानेंट मैग्नेट को भारत में मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए आज एक रेयर अर्थ परमानेंट मैग्नेट्स स्कीम REPM स्कीम अप्रूव हुई है कैबिनेट में। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अप्रूव किया इसको। इसमें फोकस रहेगा एंड टू एंड कंप्लीट इंटीग्रेटेड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सिस्टम बने, भारत में इंटीग्रेटेड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी बने।
That was Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw there talking about this grand scheme, 7,280 crore rupee outlay on the rare earth magnet scheme approved by the Union Cabinet yesterday. The Cabinet yesterday also approved the Pune Metro Rail project Phase-2 from Khardi to Khadakwasla Line 4 and Null Stop Varje and Manikbog Line 4A. The project will be completed within 5 years at an estimated cost of under 10,000 crore rupees. The expansion of the Pune Metro Rail network with the addition of this Line 4 and Line 4A marks a major boost to the city's public transport infrastructure. The new corridors are expected to be completed within 5 years. Together, they will add a 31.6-kilometer elevated network featuring 28 stations that will connect Pune's IT hubs, commercial centers, educational institutions, and key residential pockets. The lines will also integrate seamlessly with existing and sanctioned metro corridors at Khardi Bypass and Null Stop on Line 2 and Swargate on Line 1, enhancing last-mile connectivity and easing traffic congestion across the city of Pune.
ये दो नए लाइंस का लाइन 4 एंड लाइन 4A, ये जो खड़कवासला ये वाला एरिया है और ये कंप्लीट जो कोथरूड और वर्जे और मानिकबाग और राजाराम ब्रिज और ये सारा जो कंप्लीटली हाईली डेंस पॉपुलेशन का एरिया है और अच्छा रैपिडली ग्रोइंग एरिया है, ये दोनों लाइंस इन एरियाज को कैटर करेगी। और इस प्रोजेक्ट से पुणे शहर की ग्रोथ अगले कई दशकों तक लगातार इससे सपोर्ट होती रहेगी। आज इसका एक्सपेंशन 4 और 4A, इससे लाइन 4 will be 25.5 kilometers with 22 stations and line 4A will be 6.1 kilometers with 6 stations. महाराष्ट्र मेट्रो रेल कॉर्पोरेशन इसको एग्जीक्यूट करेगा और टोटल इन्वेस्टमेंट इसमें पड़ेगा आज के प्रोजेक्ट में 9,858 crores.
And in other news for India's macroeconomy, well, India's economy is estimated to grow at 6.6% this financial year, as per the latest estimates from the International Monetary Fund. The IMF has revised its projection upwards on account of the GST reforms that are likely to help cushion the country from adverse impact of the 50% tariff imposed by the United States. IMF says, and I quote, India's economy has continued to perform well following the economic growth of 6.5% in fiscal year 2024-25. Real GDP expanded by 7.8% in the first quarter of financial year 25-26, unquote. The IMF also said that looking ahead, India's ambition to become an advanced economy can be supported by advancing comprehensive structural reforms that enable higher growth potential. Now, despite external headwinds, growth is expected to remain robust, supported by favorable domestic conditions. But for the next financial year, FY27, IMF expects growth to moderate slightly to 6.2%. The IMF, however, noted that there are significant near-term risks to the economic outlook. On the upside, the conclusion of the new trade agreements as well as faster implementation of structural reforms domestically could boost exports, private investment as well as employment in the country. But on the downside, further deepening of geo-economic fragmentation could lead to tighter financial conditions, higher input costs and lower trade FDI as well as economic growth. Now, unpredictable weather shocks could affect crop yields, adversely impacting rural consumption and reigniting inflationary pressures, as per the IMF. Headline inflation is projected to remain well contained, reflecting the one-off effect of the GST reform and continued benign food prices. IMF executive directors called for continued sound policies and noted that accelerated implementation of structural reforms will be critical to maintain stability and support India's ambition of becoming an advanced economy. IMF executive directors also welcomed the recent labour market reforms and encouraged the authorities to enhance human capital and female labour force participation, plus continue with the public investment push and strengthen the business environment in India.